Hey guys, this video is for people who are intermediate in their experience of lucid dreaming, and will mainly be about how to tell that you're in a dream, and also how to prolong your lucid dream once you have one. So to begin with, essentially the different methods of realizing that you are dreaming all involve realizing that what is happening in the dream is completely absurd or unrealistic or even impossible. One common method of realizing that is by looking at a clock. And so, because we see clocks so often in our waking life, we often see them in dreams, or it's easy to find them. That's why clocks make for a good thing to look for. And basically what you want to look for are any sort of irregularities in how the time is presented. So on an analog clock, it could be that there's too many hands on the clock, or that the numbers are backwards, or it could not look like a clock entirely. For digital clocks, there could be letters involved, or numbers upside down, things like that. So looking at clocks is a good way to test reality, because you're pretty much never going to see anything like that in waking life. And as long as you can remember that, then that can alert you that you're in a dream. If at first you look at a clock and it seems normal, try looking away and then looking back at the clock. Oftentimes the time will change, or something weird will happen with the time. And that can also alert you to the fact that you're in a dream. If the clock method doesn't work well for you, another method is turning on a light switch, or turning off a light switch. So often, when you try to do that in a dream, it won't work. So the lights won't change, which pretty much never happens in waking life. Now that particular method isn't the best for me, so something I often do is I look at a magazine or a book, and I'll read a line of text, or I'll look at a picture, and I'll turn my head away and then look back at the book or the magazine. And almost always the image or the line of text changes. For some reason it's just very difficult for our minds to keep a hold of that image after we look away. And that can go along with anything that you're reading. It could be a street sign. And it's usually pretty easy to find something to read in a dream. If none of these techniques work for you, another method would be to try doing something that's impossible in waking life. So this could be floating in the air, jumping longer or higher than you normally do, or even looking at your hands or yourself in a mirror and seeing if there's any impossible things like an extra finger, or you look very different, very old, or not your usual age, something like that. You can also try just touching a mirror. For some reason, mirrors don't hold up very well for people in dreams. So you might find that your hand goes through the mirror, or something like that. And each of these methods that I've just described are known as reality checks. And that's basically because you're testing reality. And by doing that, you're trying to figure out if you're in a dream. Because often dreams can seem very lifelike. So in addition to reality checks, there's something else you can do to determine that you're dreaming. And that involves a much subtler way of recognizing something called dream signs. And these are essentially things that are possible in waking life, but essentially wouldn't happen to you at this point in time. Dream signs are usually things that you dream of somewhat often, but they don't reflect reality. One example of this is having missing teeth or broken teeth, or having teeth fall out. That's something that a lot of people experience in dreams at one point or another. And if you often dream about something like that, like having problems with your teeth, one thing that you can do is be aware of when you're, say you're in a dream and you notice that some teeth are missing. The more you think about that and the more that you experience that, you can recognize it as a dream sign. And that'll alert you to the fact that you are in a dream. And again, this is something more subtle. It's not that it's impossible, but generally if you have a full set of teeth in waking life, you're not going to find any missing in the day. So another example would be to notice that you're somewhere that you've never been before, or someplace that seems completely unfamiliar. And as soon as you start thinking something like, hey, this doesn't look very familiar, but it seems like it's my room, you can try to realize that it is a dream. In this case, the sense that your surroundings aren't familiar is your dream sign. And so, in case you recognize your dream sign, and you're still not convinced it's a dream, you can try performing a reality check. So, using those two things, you should, and with practice, you should be able to find that you can figure out your inner dream relatively easy. Another thing to work on is try coming up with your own dream signs, or ways to signal to yourself that you are dreaming. For me, simply questioning, is this a dream, allows me to realize that I am in fact dreaming. The reason for this is that I never ask myself that question during the day. And if I were to ask myself right now, for instance, am I dreaming? I know 100% that I'm not dreaming right now, and that this is waking life. So basically, if I ever ask myself that question and I think, I'm not sure if I'm dreaming or not, that always means that I'm dreaming. So even the slightest amount of doubt that I am dreaming allows me, that I'm not awake or not, allows me to realize I'm in the dream. So once you've gotten the basics of lucid dreaming down, you should be having at least some dreams where you realize that you're in a dream, even if it only lasts a few seconds. So if you haven't achieved this yet, you should go back to the basics and keep trying the basic steps and preparation until you succeed in having a dream where you realize you're in a dream. You can refer to my video I made earlier, the lucid dreaming techniques, the basics, and that might help you out. So keep following those kind of rules and those different practices until you achieve a time when you're cognizant of your dream. So at this point, if you are having a few lucid dreams, but they're very short, you might be frustrated that as soon as you realize you're in a dream, you wake up. Or maybe you have a few moments of extreme awe or excitement about all the possibilities at hand, and then you wake up from the dream. I know that can be quite frustrating, but basically what's happening is that as you become more conscious of your dream, the burst of emotions that results from the discovery of being in a dream pushes your mind state to that of more consciousness, to the point where you often wake up. Usually during sleep, a number of areas of the brain are turned off. Or in other words, they're not active. These areas include the frontal cortex, which is involved with rational thinking and decision making. And some sleep studies have shown that in lucid dreamers, their frontal cortex is actually active during certain stages of sleep, perhaps allowing for their lucidity in dreams. Normally such a change in brain activity would wake someone up, but lucid dreamers perhaps have developed an ability to turn on their frontal cortex without actually waking up. And that allows basically for conscious decision making and rationality in dreams, allowing for lucidity. So how this translates into actual practice is that by trying to lessen your automatic emotional response when you realize you're in a dream, in other words, to try not to get excited, you'll have a much better chance of staying in the dream longer. So the next time you find that you're in a dream, try to stay calm and first simply observe your dream without being too hasty about going off and doing all the exciting things you want to do. And the more you progress in this fashion, you'll find that it becomes easier to stay in the dream longer. And after a little while, you can try accomplishing smaller goals while focusing on staying relaxed and not letting your emotions get to you. Even just consciously viewing a vivid dream can be incredibly awe-inspiring and exciting. So try not to feel upset if it takes you a while to have a lucid dream longer than a few seconds. But I guarantee if you focus on staying calm at first, it'll definitely help out. So now let's say that you are able to have recurring lucid dreams that last more than a few seconds, but you're having trouble maintaining them during points of extreme fun or pleasure. So you're able to make them last a little while, but when you try to experiment and do different things, you find yourself waking up. So there's a few techniques that can be performed in the dream that have been shown in some people to extend their lucid dream. The first method I'll discuss is spinning, and this simply involves spinning your body in the dream as soon as you notice that the dream begins to fade. So symptoms of the dream fading could be things are getting dark or hard to see, colors are disappearing, or you could also become more aware of your sleeping body. So say you hear some actual sounds in the room that you're sleeping in, or you start to feel your body laying in bed while you're still in the dream. So the next time you realize your dream's fading, try spinning your body around. Another similar method is rubbing your hands together or falling backwards. You might find that by performing these methods, you find yourself waking up in bed rather than staying in your dream. But often, that's actually not what's happening. Oftentimes when you think that you're waking up in bed, you're actually still in a dream. That's something called false awakening. So what I recommend is, after you think you've woken up, perform a reality check to make sure that you're not just in a dream. And most likely you will find that you are still dreaming. And at that point you can resume where you left off, and then again if the dream starts fading, try spinning again or try falling backwards. And just keep repeating the process. Excuse me. So you'll find that with practicing that, you should be able to prolong your dreams. I one time was practicing the spinning method, and I had about a dozen false awakenings in a row. And each time it was amazing, because it seemed so real that I was actually waking up, but in fact I was still in a dream. Another method of helping to stay in a dream is by stopping what you're doing and demanding that the dream be more clear. So it may sound silly, but often dreaming is affected by the way we feel and expect things to happen. So if you expect and believe that your dream will become more vivid by demanding that it becomes vivid, it most likely will. Try experimenting with these methods of maintaining your dream, and also try creating your own methods. Lots of experienced lucid dreamers have developed their own methods for prolonging their dreams that are unique to them. So people have all sorts of different things that are that will work for them that might not work for other people. So with time and practice, I guarantee that you will find that lucid dreams can last as long as you wish. So thanks for listening. I hope I've provided a few ideas or a few methods of practice for you, and that it helps out in your journey of lucid dreaming. in the next video, I'll go over some more advanced techniques of lucid dreaming, including ways to enhance your lucid dream abilities, ways to wake yourself up at will, and interesting experiments to try out. It's a whole world of possibilities. So again, take care. Thanks.